All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dax, and this is Trash Talk. Got a good one going on for you today. We are going to break down top 5 teams. I'm going to give you some predictions, and I'm going to tell you what to look out for. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. As you can see, I'm in the car. Brother got to work, so that's what we finna do. Here we go. So, your top 5 teams, and this is early. This is the way too early, okay? This ain't nothing that you need to go running. Oh, man, they kept my team. You don't know, all right? So just calm down. Top 5 teams that we got going into next year. You got Clemson at number 1. Bama at number 2. Oklahoma at number 3. Georgia at number 4. Ohio State at number 5. Okay? So, we have... we had a really strong end to the season. You had Ohio State putting it on Clemson, right? Then you had Bama that was putting it on Notre Dame, right? Then they get together. You get Ohio State and Bama. Yes, we're getting ready to get it. And Bama just knocked them in the throat, okay? So, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be real with you, okay? Now, granted, I told y'all, I'm from Atlanta, all right? It's dogs down here, all right? But I'm going to be real. Bama ain't going nowhere, all right? So y'all might as well get used to it. I know y'all, oh, we can't stand Bama. You know, Bama ain't going nowhere, all right? So we're going to get down into it. I'm going to start with Clemson. I have Clemson going 11-1, okay? And I don't have Clemson losing to Georgia just because I'm a fan, all right? I have Clemson losing to Georgia because I really do think that Georgia is going to have another one of those seasons that they did when they went to the SEC championship game. But it all depends on what they do in the SEC championship game. But we'll get to that in a minute. I think Clemson runs through their schedule. I'm going to just be honest with you. I don't really see any... competition in the ACC. The ACC is kind of weak, and that's not Clemson's fault. Everybody says, oh, Clemson don't play nobody. Oh, Clemson ain't this, and Clemson this, and, you know, they when they get to the playoff. Clemson can only play who's in their conference. Nobody wants to go to NC State, and you get North Carolina gives them a little bit of some competition, and then you got Miami that gives them some competition, but nobody wants to go to, you know, no Wake Forest and all them. They get the second tier of them players. Clemson is one of those teams that has, you know, came out and made themselves one of those big, you know, top 5 schools that kids want to go to. So, of course, they're going to wax their competition. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like teams like Georgia Tech, even though that just makes me want to regurgitate saying that, I think teams like Georgia Tech and Miami are on their way on the come-up. Now, is De'Aaron King going to be, you know, the next best Miami quarterback to come through? And, oh, my God, you know, I don't know. But what I saw from him last year doesn't make me think that he's going to dethrone Clemson in the ACC. I just don't see it. All right. So for right now, what I'm seeing, and I'm going to tell you what, I can't pronounce his last name, but that whatever his last name is for Clemson, that is a bad brother. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know right now that Clemson is not about to miss a beat. All right. They got a lot of players that's returning. They got a lot of good people on that squad, and that quarterback, I'm telling you, is a weapon. All right. Mark my words on that. Save this video. Go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, do all that. Save this video because I'm telling you, that boy is he's a bad brother. All right. So then we're going to move on to Alabama. Alabama, undefeated. Undefeated. Nobody in the SEC West, and then them little garbage, little Mercer and, you know, Georgia Pharmaceutical of Western Kentucky State, whatever. None of them is going to beat Bama, of course. Bama is going undefeated again. And I'm going to tell you again, okay, just like I told you for Clemson, Bryce Young, that boy is a monster. All right. And he will be coming up on that cliff of them top echelon players. I'm going to tell you that right now. You might not know his name. You might not have been able to see him play, but that is a bad brother right there. All right. So Bama ain't going to lose to nobody. Bama's going undefeated, and Bama's going to, again, play Georgia in the SEC championship game because I really don't see nobody on the East that's going to be able to do nothing with Georgia. Georgia has a good team this year, and we'll get to Georgia too. But I think Georgia puts Florida back in their place in number 2. And then, Lord, I don't know if y'all pray, but if you do, send some prayers up for Tennessee because they are about to get demolished in this thing. Okay? You put money in McDonald's bags trying to come to Tennessee. Don't nobody want to go to Tennessee. No wonder they was getting so many recruits. They was giving them McChickens with thousands of dollars in the bag. I would have went to Tennessee for a McChicken and a couple $1,000. I'm going to tell you that right now. But back to Bama. Bama is not going to miss a beat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. They losing a lot of guys, but Bama is, we all know what it is. Bama reload, and Bama don't have to rebuild. That's just it in a nutshell, all right? I ain't got much to say about Bama. The only thing that I saw on their schedule that makes me think that they could possibly have some competition is Miami. But, again, Miami can't even compete with Clemson. Not to say Clemson ain't Bama, but do the math, all right? Then you got Oklahoma. Oklahoma, to me, is a 2-loss team, all right? I really don't have that much faith in Spencer Rattler. I really don't think Spencer Rattler is all that great. I know you hear a lot on ESPN, oh, Spencer Rattler, oh, he gonna win the Heisman. And Spencer Rattler don't do nothing for me, okay? I think Spencer Rattler's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's pretty good. I think he showed us against Florida that he's got the gas in the tank. He's got the energy. He's there, but I don't see him, leading them to no national championship game. And I'm going to be real with you, be honest, and I know y'all Oklahoma fans going to be mad at me. I think this year, Red River rivalry, Texas is bouncing back. Now, I'm not telling you Texas is back. I'm saying Texas is bouncing back when it comes to that parade that's downtown in the middle of the day. And they got that Red River rivalry and all the Cowboys be out there riding the cows around and shit. That's what I think is I think Texas is gonna be back. All right. I think that Sark is gonna go down there and he's gonna implement a really, really good offense. And I mean, that's what he gotta do. You in the Big 12, you gotta be able to score 50 to 60 points a game. You ain't got to have no defense, but you got to be able to score about 50 to 60 points a game. So if you got that, you're going to be successful. And Sark is a fantastic college mind, all right? And I think that he will be able to turn that. I mean, the Texas offense is not bad at all. It's really not. If you look at some of the players, that running back they got, I can't think of his name, and I don't know his number, but I think it's number 5. That is a bad brother right there, I'm telling you. So Texas is going to bounce back in that. Texas is going to beat Oklahoma next year. And I think Oklahoma's going to lose another game like they always do, some unnecessary game that they ain't supposed to lose, and they lose anyway. They lost last year to Iowa State. Like, why are you losing to Iowa State? There ain't no reason for you to be losing to Iowa State. They let Iowa State hang in a game, and then in the end of the game, Iowa State was able to pull it out. That's the same exact thing that's going to happen this year. They're going to have somebody that they let be in the game. Kansas State. They did that against Kansas State last year. They let them be in the game for a little while, and then you get to the end of the game, and then they let them win. It's vintage Oklahoma. They're going to keep up with the same thing. 1 or 2 loss team right there. Now we move on to Georgia. I think Georgia's going to be a powerhouse school. I'm again, y'all see me. I'm in my car. Boom. I got the work phone. But anyway, I think Georgia's going to be a powerhouse school. I really do. And I'm not saying that any of these teams ain't going to be a powerhouse school, because when I talk about Ohio State, y'all going to be mad at me again. All right. But I think that Georgia comes back to that 2017, that national championship run that they had. All right. I think they're going to get back to that. You got a lot of players coming back. Georgia was a young team. You got, JT Daniels that's coming back. You have Brock Vandegrift that's coming in as quarterback. You got Carson Beck that's still there. Lord bless his heart, Stetson Bennett is still there. I thought that man got to be like 70. Why is Stetson Bennett still at Georgia? But anyway, that's besides the point. Stetson Bennett is still there. You got a lot of players. George Pickens, my boy, Darnell Washington. Okay, the dude is a tackle playing tight end, all right? He's faster than anybody, all right? You're going to have a lot of firepower in that offense, all right? And then the defense is going to follow up right behind that. They got some ballers that's coming in on this recruiting staff. The recruiting class for Georgia was really good. The recruiting class for all of these schools were good, of course. That's why they're the top 5 all the time. But I think Georgia's gonna come back to that. Georgia's gonna play pissed off against Florida, and Georgia's gonna win against Florida. I think honestly Georgia could be either a one-loss team depending on what happens against Clemson, or Georgia could be an undefeated team depending on if they come out and they punch Clemson in the mouth, and then they come out and they just continue to just run through their schedule. You get to the SEC championship game, you looking at the big dog. What you gonna do? You're going to either beat Bama and go to the championship and become on that top level, or you're going to continue to lose to Bama, and then you're going to be mad. And then us Georgia fans, we talk about why we lose to Bama all the time. Lose to Bama because you don't ever play the way you're supposed to when you get to the SEC championship game. You can play against anybody in the SEC championship game and wax them, but you can't do it against Bama. So that's where Georgia is going to have to step up. All right. So for me, I think one loss or either undefeated for Georgia. Ohio State, I don't know who's going to be at the quarterback. I don't. I really don't. They got a freshman quarterback that's coming out, Kyle McCord. He's from Philadelphia, 6'3", 205. He was the number 8 recruit, quarterback recruit, not the number 8 in the nation, but number 8 in the quarterback ranking. To me, I don't really see anybody on Ohio State's schedule that's going to beat Ohio State. I really don't. And that's, again, Ohio State is in that same category as Clemson. They can only play who's in they conference. They can't go out and try to find, they can with their outer conference, but the big dogs ain't doing that. All right. You need a break from all that. So you can only play who you can play. So I don't see anybody on their schedule that's going to, and I'll go through the schedules here in a minute. I don't think anybody on their schedule is going to beat Ohio State. All right. So I have for Ohio State, I have them either being a one-loss or an undefeated team. And laugh with me, everybody. Okay. We're going to laugh together on 3. 1, 2, 3. That was for Michigan. You gonna re-sign Harbaugh? Harbaugh, Michigan? Y'all gonna re-sign? You deserve to lose. Ohio State is gonna be winning against Michigan for the next 10 years because you decide you're gonna hire Harbaugh again. You're gonna keep Harbaugh when Harbaugh ain't won nothing. You dagnum lost to Army in overtime, and all Army do is run the ball. Take all your cornerbacks off the field and put a bunch of linebackers up there. Stop the run. You stop the run. You beat Army. What? Ohio State has no competition in that division. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put it to you like that. Let me get into the schedules so I can let y'all know. So starting up from the top with the big dogs, Clemson. You got Georgia, then you got South Carolina State, you got UConn, you got South Carolina. Why is that an early game? That's weird. Then you got Boston College, Florida State, Georgia. Sorry. Ooh. It's kind of hard for me to say that because it's so nasty. You got Georgia Tech, you have Wake Forest, you got Louisville, you got North Carolina State and Pitt. Nobody on there gonna beat Clemson. You got Georgia, maybe. We'll see what happens in that game. All right, we already went over that. Alabama, they got Miami, Mercer, Florida, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Tennessee, LSU, New Mexico State, Arkansas, and Auburn. Oh man. Anyway, nobody gonna beat Bama on that schedule. All right. Then you got Oklahoma. So you got Tulane, Western Carolina, Nebraska, Baylor, Texas, Iowa State, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, Kansas, TCU, Kansas State, and West Virginia. Somebody other than Texas, because Texas is going to beat them, somebody on that garbage list right there, it's probably going to be Oklahoma State. Probably going to be Oklahoma State. Oh, they're going to lose both of their rivalry games. You're going to lose the Red River rivalry, and then you're going to mess around and lose in Bedlam. Watch. I'm telling you. They lose unnecessary games. 67-63. Guarantee it. Watch. Play the video back. Then you got Georgia. You got Clemson, UAB, South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, Missouri, Tennessee, Charleston Southern, and Georgia Tech. Whew. Man, that almost put me to sleep reading that right there. That's a garbage schedule. If Georgia ain't undefeated, Kirby Smart got to go. I'm just kidding. But something got to be done because this is garbage. You should be going undefeated. I mean, depending on what you do against Clemson. Honestly, seriously, if they can beat Clemson, you get to the national championship game. I mean, you get to the SEC championship game. Excuse me. You get to the SEC championship game. You better beat Bama. That's just it in a nutshell. You beat Bama. Now, if you're undefeated, Georgia, you one-loss SEC champion. I mean, one-loss SEC championship team. You probably still gonna get into 4. But we all know that your butt should have been left out. Because why you do this every year, you get all the way to the end and you lose to Bama. You lose to Bama, you don't need to be in. Just it in a nutshell. And that's coming from a Georgia fan. All right. So then we move on to Ohio State. You got Minnesota, Oregon. Now that's the game right there. And I forgot to mention it earlier. Oregon. And when I was wondering, I was like, why did I say Ohio State's going to be a one-loss team? Oregon could possibly beat Ohio State. That's a possibility. Now, because they got that boy Thibodeau that come off the edge, the Oregon could possibly be that team that punches Ohio State in the mouth real early. But it's one of those things where you don't know until it happens. You don't know what's going to happen because Ohio State could come out with their hair on fire. And it also depends on who is going to be at that quarterback position. They got 2 quarterbacks right now. They got one coming in. Yeah. Who's playing quarterback? You know, Justin is gone, so it depends on that. All right. Then you got Tulsa, Akron, Nebraska, Purdue, Rutgers, Michigan State, Indiana, Maryland, Penn State, and Michigan. It makes me laugh. Harbaugh. Wow. Okay. So, anyway, so those are your schedules. All right. I don't see any of these guys going anywhere. I see now Oklahoma, they always up here, and then they lose, and then everybody be like, oh, they're gone. And then people lose in front of them, and they deserve to be in the 4. They do not. Okay? And the same thing is going to happen this year. They're going to start up here, and then they're going to lose, and then they're going down. That's just it in a nutshell. Like, follow, subscribe. I love all y'all. It's your boy Dax. A little bit of a long video, but it's good. Go ahead. Give me all the love. Share me. Share me with your friends, with your family. Make your mom watch. Say, hey, look, listen to what Dax had to say today. Love, peace, hair grease, black-eyed peas, cornbread. Deuces.